Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president, joins me now. Kellyanne, good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Perhaps you could speak to the judgment that was made by Chairman Schiff about the cozy relationship between this investigation and the White House. What is the structure in terms of the relationship between the White House and anything that's going on in that investigation?
Martha, this is what Adam Schiff does. He lacks evidence. He sees a TV camera, he runs toward it, and then he lies and he leaks. This man has no credibility. He read a parody of an account of a phone call that never existed on the House floor as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee to open up the sham impeachment inquiry in the first place. That's after 6 months before that. He said there's plenty of evidence of collusion in plain sight ahead of the Mueller report.
Pointed out, but
he has no credibility. I'm sorry. I think every time that he swears somebody under oath in front of the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff should have to be sworn under oath. I think that we should ask him to raise his right hand and start learning.
But my question is, what is the structure?
Well,
is there any communication between the Durham investigation and Bill Barr and the White House? Is there ever any discussion between the two about this ongoing investigation?
Attorney General Barr answered that today. He said that he's not involved in the investigation. That's why Durham is doing it. And the only people who have to fear this investigation are people who did something wrong. So if they didn't do anything wrong, Martha, they don't need to fear a criminal investigation into what actually happened at the top echelons of our FBI and DOJ potentially. We already have ample evidence of text messages, of insurance policies, of the fix being in. We've never heard from Glenn Simpson at Fusion GPS. He's busy taking the Fifth Amendment. We have a right to know as citizens in this country what happened, because you know what? Everybody who's on their high horse, we must investigate Russian interference. We must investigate foreign interference. I'm sick and tired of media interference. I'm sick and tired of media interference trying to undo the last election's results and trying to interfere in 2020. What was this yesterday from the Washington Post? This nonsense. The media is angry at the President of the United States for getting rid of the world's worst terrorist. It's like, who is he to interfere while we're trying to impeach him? They went to the magnitude and the duplicity yesterday of trying to undercut the commander-in-chief, making the order, and honestly, doing something that helped the whole country and the world, freedom-loving people everywhere. This man was a murderer, a rapist, a terrorist. He was a ringleader, a ruthless terrorist.
Well, I think everybody in the country should.
Well, no, I don't think the media do. They went to great lengths yesterday.
We're going to talk about the headline
undercut.
that you just held up in just a moment, so we will absolutely get to that. I'd like to ask you about this soundbite from James Comey, because you just mentioned something. You said anybody who, doesn't have anything to worry about, doesn't have anything to worry about. And he puts himself in that category. Watch this.
I'm not worried about a single thing in connection with any of the matters under investigation. Gather the facts, write a report, and share it with the American people. I'm confident that when the American people see the picture of why we did what we did, their confidence in the institution will be maintained, restored, and protected.
What do you say to that?
Well, I'll paraphrase Attorney General Barr today, Martha. He said that the confidence and integrity of the FBI has been improved, but that's under Christopher Wray, the director who was put there by President Trump, not by another lying, leaking Jim Comey. And how do we know that? Because he's been caught doing that. And he made no friends among the Democrats for the way he handled the Clinton email investigation, going before the cameras in July of 2016 and then coming out in October 2016. And he made no friends with other people by the way he conducted himself. I would point everybody to the May 9th, 2017 Rod Rosenstein Deputy Attorney General memo. It is one of my top 10 favorite documents since I've been here in 3 years. That's saying a lot. Go back and read that. Rosenstein says that the one thing that unites divergent people at the FBI was the way Comey mishandled the Clinton email investigation, that he usurped the duties of the AG to go out and talk about whether or not they were going to investigate. He ran to the cameras. Rosenstein said at the time it was a textbook example of how not to behave as an FBI director overseeing that probe. So I think Comey enjoys his speaking fees, enjoys his life as an author, but I think he does have something to worry about from where we sit. Andrew McCabe, Jim Comey, you're talking about at the top echelons of the FBI, DOJ, people need an insurance policy. And I will never forget that Jim Comey didn't bother, as the FBI director, did not bother to come see President-elect Trump until 2 full months after he was elected. The whole world had been there. Steve Harvey, Kanye West, Shinzo Abe, the whole world came to Trump Tower during the transition, except the FBI director who wanted to keep his job. Why was that? Why was he so busy here in Washington doing what he was doing? But look, I just want to say this last thing on behalf of the president and the White House. This obituary was a disgrace, and I would ask the Washington Post, close your eyes and pretend that al-Baghdadi worked in the Trump White House, and then go rewrite your obituary. I bet you wouldn't be as kind.
Kellyanne, thank you very much. We are going to get into that Washington Post headline in just a moment. Thanks for being here tonight. Always good to see you. Thank you very much. Also.